Hey guys, Mike here with Vant Trading. I wanted to go over do a quick little video for you on a pattern that's been consistently profitable for us over the last couple of weeks. It's one of my favorite patterns to trade. It's the ascending triangle breakout over VWAP into the 10:30, 11 o'clock hour. And it's been, again, it's been very consistent for us. Markets do change. But if you can learn this strategy, it could be definitely a very profitable strategy for you. So I want to pull up two stocks here. One on the left, the first one is a stock today that we traded today. Today's the 13th, Thursday of August. So if you look here with this pattern, typically what happens is in the morning, they drive the stock up. Okay, and as you know, the first 15 minutes or so is really, we don't do too much because it's price discovery. So you get a lot of wild swings in there. And so, you have the stock, this is Fastly. You have the stock that's traded above VWAP, then they drive it below VWAP. And really that establishes this 15-minute high and 15-minute low. And, I'll do a different video on that strategy because that's a strategy we use very well to find stocks that are in trends that you can trade. On this one though, usually what happens, so you have the pop above VWAP, then they fail it, okay? Then you have what I call a lot of times this little middle leg here. This little, I call it a tent pole actually. So they peak above VWAP here, try to drive some of the last people in, and then they drive it back down below VWAP. And the key is for a lot of these patterns, for 90% of them, is that they come down and make a higher low. And that's one of the keys. So then what happens is, and again, you can see right in here around 10:15, 10:30, they then drive this stock up, and then you can see what happened as a result. And it was a beautiful trade. And this is the 22 EMA, and the stock stays all the way above this 22 EMA for a nice little scalp trade up into 81. Beautiful trade. And if you look here, as you know, I'm really big on volume. So you want to make sure that you have the volume confirmation that's pushing it through VWAP. And if you buy the stock on the break, your stop loss, we usually use the 22 EMA in there. Okay, as far as the original burst out of that. This stock over here was a stock we traded yesterday, is eBay. Okay, eBay popped up on their scanners early in the morning. They drove it up in the morning hours above VWAP. They then drove it down. And then, of course, you got this little tent pole again. They burst it through, and they try to sucker in those last bit of traders, and then they drop it. And again, it's making that higher low. The only thing that was a little concerning on this eBay play was you had some pretty significant volume come in on the drop. Okay, if you look over here on the Fastly trade, the volume on the drop was a lot less. Okay, so this gave us a pretty tight stops in here as far as whether or not this stock was going to go. But you did get some good volume on the burst up and the burst through to VWAP. Now this one, instead of going straight up, did come in to the 22, and it did come into VWAP. But, given we've traded this pattern so well over the last 2 weeks, we gave it some room, and you can see we were rewarded richly in this stock, and it drove it right up to the high of the day. So it was a great scalping opportunity on VWAP. And again, you have a 10:15, 10:30 break. Right, same time frame. So I'm going to pull up two more stocks. And again, these stocks are good stocks to look at. One square, but I didn't have that chart ready yet, so I want to pull up really the Disney chart first. This happened right after earnings, and this was a beautiful play here as well. So as you can see, coming into the morning hours, they really, they didn't pop it above VWAP right away. What they did was you had a kind of a little rounding bottom, and this was an earnings day. So, a day after earnings on Disney, so it's a little bit different action. Some pre-market levels, which I took off my chart, came into play. But then they popped it up here, brought it back down. So the action that typically happened at the opening happened a little bit later. You had the tent pole again, and if you were able to see that, and technically this was a higher low, and then you can see the volume pick up through this breakout. And yes, it happened a little bit later, but drove it all the way up. And this was a nice little scalp opportunity when Disney took it up to the day's highs, and it kind of rode that 22 up there, except for a little bit of a pullback in here. So nice little play there. And Square, I'm kind of zooming here. This was a play today. It was a nice little play again in the morning. Square, they kind of drove you up, tried to sucker some people in, took you back down, drove you up, and then you kind of had some choppiness tent pole in here with increasing lows, and then they burst it up all the way up to an important level on the daily chart. Provided again. If you look right in here, there's some lower highs, which gave you another opportunity to load in for some more shares on Square at a profitable level, right? Because you got the confirmation, and then they drove it up with some significant volume all the way up to 145. So a couple of opportunities, a little bit more choppier, but another good view and a good trading opportunity into Square today. So that's 4 charts, 4 opportunities. We have several more, but look for this play. And again, if you look at this happened around 10:30. So most of the plays are happening. They're setting up nicely, and the key is you have this price discovery. Be careful, know the stock you're trading. Don't get sucked into that price discovery. And again, this gives you a nice little scalping opportunity. And a lot of traders, they use VWAP, or they're starting to become a little bit more popular. And but a lot of people don't understand VWAP or what it is. Okay, and having a fund and trading institutionally for a good portion of my career, I'm very well familiar with VWAP. And what you got to understand with VWAP is that it's the price that the institutional desk is going to be judged as far as accumulation for institutions. So they're buying, if you have an institution come in and they need to buy a large block of Square, well, that institution is going to be responsible for purchasing that issue without really, getting the high of the day. So they're going to be judged based off the volume average weighted price of the stock at the time they're purchasing. So they like to purchase below VWAP, right around that area, because they want to get the best price for the clients. That's how they're judged. That's how they get more clients, and that's how they're profitable. So look for that action rate in there. Again, for us on our charts, we like to have VWAP. I like to have the 22 EMA. Period EMA on my chart, and then I have all my levels, and it doesn't need to be any more complicated than that. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, type down in the comment section. We'll try to get back to you on that. And have a good day trading. The markets are starting to they're starting to get a little toppy, so you got to be careful. So, make sure you have your stops and you're trading with stops, and make sure you have a good system and don't let your profits get chopped away. In the meantime, safe trading. Talk to you later.